Welcome to the Beer and Gear podcast with Chris Taylor.
Welcome to this week's podcast, and I've got a great guest with me today, someone I've chatted with online for many years, even going back to where we first sort of virtually met, when that was back on the sort of Laney forums, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
We've got Mr. Dan Ranger. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, mate. All good. Yeah, really good.
Well, it's great to have you on because, like you say, we always knew of Dan Ranger back in the days because we had the little before the Facebook pages and all the social media. Really, we had the and the sort of Laney owners ones when I was there, and me and Mr. Hickman used to speak.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, Mr. Hickman. Yeah,
Roger's still there, bless him. Yeah, Rogue's still there.
Yeah.
We knew of you because at the time you were a big advocate of the GH model, weren't you? The GH.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
100 did you have?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. I'm both. Yeah.
So you were still tinkering with them then, weren't you? Changing the tubes and all sort of stuff. And
I was changing the grills and modding this, that, and the other, and everything. Yeah. I went to 6L6s. I just didn't get on with the EL34s. I'm a pagan.
Well, no, I'm similar. I do prefer a 6L6 tube to a EL34. I just find that whole Marshley sound a bit too barky for me. I mean, it's great for some things. Don't be wrong; it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I'm more of a 5150. Give me a little bit more sizzle and body type guy, really, with those time bands.
I just like the punch and the headroom as well. I suppose. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
So now, because I remember also because I started the Facebook page there, and you were literally one of the first people to like it. I remember back in the day.
Yeah. Well, my history with Laney goes back to the early 80s. My first proper amp was a Laney combo in about 82. I don't know what it was. It was with the linebackers out then or not.
The first incarnation was around then, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember the boost. It had like a real saturated boost function on it. Because my brother, who was a bass player at the time, he bought the bass version, and we both. I remember we both walking home on the train with these combos. Yeah, but they were really killer stuff, for the time.
That was before the AORs came out then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
because they were cool. People still used to ask about those all the time because it was literally like what that was like Laney jumping into everyone's modifying Marshalls. They're having because after Van Halen they want a Marshall with more gain and they want this and they want that the other and they're modding them and then Laney just brought out like a circuit of a super boosted Marshally type amp.
Well, that was it because after that I got into Marshalls and I had two JCMs 800s 50s all the way through all the way up to about 88, 89, and then I got the AOR, the 50 AOR, and I loved that. It was just, I didn't need pedals or anything. It was just like straight in, done.
Yeah, because you like
bar pedal straight in. That was
you just do a wire into the amp and then a couple of bits in the loop guy, aren't you? Like me, really. Well, like me generally, but I mean, I don't know. You've probably seen pictures of my old big board, because that was full of MXR stuff, but like it had a lot of stuff on it, but they're only for certain bits. Like it had the MXR flanger on it just for those 4 seconds of a gig that I'd be picking it in. And things like that. And there was like one song that needed a whammy pedal, so you have to take up that much real estate on your board with the whammy pedal, and it got really big and heavy, and I've still got it, and it's awesome. I've never sold a single pedal off it. It's all still wired in, but since having a Helix, like it just takes a back seat because it's all there in it. It's all.
It's really strange. I went through the whole 80s, right, with the same pick, the same whirlwind guitar lead, right, the same two heads, and just the wah pedal. That was it. I went through, and then I got to the 90s, and then because all the gear started coming through, we didn't have the choices then at all. You had your Boss pedals and that, but it's just like I was so anti-chorus then. And
Yeah,
this,
but
that, and the
you
other.
have to buy batteries for them and stuff. It's like a never-ending thing.
It was something, and it's something else to forget. And I think the only pedal I had with my Marshalls, I had this I don't know if it was an old Japanese brand, ROZZ. They were like Boss copies, a bit like is it Arion? Very similar.
Yeah,
And they had a peak, and they had a PQ pedal. So I used to boost my Marshalls with a PQ pedal to get that chunk, the chung,
Right, yeah.
because I could never get it with a straight Marshall, sort of. I always had to have it boosted. It was either that or the SD1, so they were my two things.
I was having a similar chat about the sort of Marshalls around then with a good friend of mine. It wasn't actually on a podcast. I've got a thing called Weather Zooms that we do every week because we can't go to a
yeah.
So we've replaced it with getting a few beers and then literally just go into the Weather Zooms, and I'll sit here and he'll be in his house. But we were talking about this last night. It's because he does done a lot of sound engineering. And he was in thrash bands in the 80s and stuff, and it was just like with the 800s, it was like people that actually just either remove the bass completely or have it on one or two, otherwise you couldn't get any kind of edge on your sound because it would just be or the middle, because the middle was just crazy. It was like you had to do pretty much drastic EQ to get that kind of percussive attack, and and then boost it as well.
I think what I did, game was on full. I had the just like I do now with the amps now, 666, because
that's right, isn't it? That's what I do.
Yeah, 666. Start there. Use the presence at gigs just to get the cut in the mix, and then boost it. That was it. I mean, that's all we had. I had a wah pedal as well, but that was it. But I've never used a wah pedal as a wacka thing. It's more of a tone shift,
Yeah, more of a Schenker type thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, all my influences are all sort of that kind of old school, but then coming into the newest. But it depends what you.
Were you still playing like one pickup guitars back then? Because I use a wah in that way in many gigs at the moment. Because obviously I play mainly live. I play pickups with one knob and one guitar, one pickup and one knob like you.
Yeah.
But I'll literally use the wah to simulate a neck pickup. So any neck pickup bits I need to do, I'll just park it where it is and just hold it there.
That's exactly what I did then, and exactly what I do now. I use it as a tone filter, and you can get sort of semi phaser, out of it. It's like But I've ripped every guitar I've had since day one. I've ripped the tone control out. It's just, what is all that about?
I don't use them. I don't use them. I mean, I like, even on my Les Pauls, I haven't ripped them out, but like I leave it there. But I never mess them. I think the only time I mess with them is I might mess with the one on the neck pickup to make it sound like slash, and that's it. The bridge one never gets touched because I like the sound of the tone on 10, and that's it. And my main gigging guitars, like I said, they've only got one knob anyway, and that's a volume knob. So
right. Do you want to see some pictures of my? Hold on. Right. I had my only American guitar I've ever had was a Fender Telecaster, right? Because during the 70s, I was a massive Rick Parfitt fan.
Oh, right. Okay.
Absolute. I was a massive Quo fan, and I thought, I'll get a Telly. Do you know what's the most disappointing thing I've ever played? That's just me personally. I mean, what I should have done was kept it, routed it out, put a humbucker in it, and put a Floyd on it.
But the thing is, some people like Telecaster's the best guitar in the world, and I'll say one thing for them. It's like, of all the recordings we've been doing recently and stuff like that, the Telecaster has ended up on pretty much every track in the rhythms. Yeah. But my Telecaster is not a normal Telecaster.
Yeah.
My Telly is actually a Squire Telly, which I fell in love with the neck on. It just felt great, and I don't care that it says Squire on it, right? I don't.
No, because the Squire Tellys in the 80s were better than the Fender. The actual Fender Tellys, they were absolutely killer.
Well, this one's got a set of DiMarzio Kotzen pickups in it and an upgraded wiring, and it sounds ace. But even that, it's not a traditional Telly because the pickup, the DiMarzio, it's got a twanking in the neck, and in the bridge, it's I can't remember what it was now. It'll come to me. Yeah. It looks like a Blade single coil, but it's not. It's actually like a mini tone zone, and you can coil tap it. So it's a chopper T pickup. That's what's in it.
Yeah.
And it's wide, so you can do the pull up on the volume knob and make it like a twangy telly pickup. Or when you push back in, it's like a mini humbucker. It's a great sounding pickup. I didn't bother wiring in the split thing. I just like when it's in the back pickup, it goes crank, and when it's on the neck pickup, it sounds like a telly. Good enough. That's fine.
Yeah, I've had the Jim Root Telecaster. That's more my thing.
I've never played one of those, but I've always liked the idea of a telly with 2 EMGs in it and just does metal.
Well, this is just right up my street, and that plays really nice. I mean, if I was going to have one now, then that would be it. Something like that. Having said that, the Ibanez FRs are pretty good. So
I loved it when they came out, because that was a real modern upgrade on the telly. It was like all the playability was there, and all the problems were solved with the telly, like having the belly cuts and that, and it was
They are really nice.
I really liked them. So I always wish they. I always wanted one that looked like more traditional, like a Sunburst or a butterscotch like looking one that looked like a real vintage telly that's shredded with a wizard neck on it. That was my thing. Rather than having a black one and stuff, I wanted one that looked like a vintage Fender, that played like a modern Ibanez, and they never kind of brought that out. They did bring a Sunburst one out with gold hardware for like the first year, but it didn't sell.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have one with a. Yeah, it'd be nice to have one with the edge on it. The edge trem, one pickup, one volume. That would suit me.
Look, we'll get onto trems in a bit, because I've got views on it, because I love the edge trem.
Oh yeah.
And I know that your guitars, you've got some of the 250Zs, haven't you? 2550Zs and things like that. And
I've got every trem going.
So let's go on to that then. So what's your favourite then? Because I love the edge. I'm not a massive fan of the 0.1s, but you can set them up so they actually work great. But I just never really got on with them. What's your...
I like the Low Pro. That's probably if I had a choice, it would be the Low Pro. But I didn't get on with the Edge Pro for some reason. But I get on really well with the Edge Zero.
You do?
I do, but right. I take out the ZPS.
Oh, you take it out? Yeah.
I take it out. I can't deal with that because it affects the tuning, and most of mine now I've got a brass block in them.
Right. Cool.
Which helps. There's a guy in Turkey. Is it Hangtung?
I've not heard that guy. I always follow the FU tone stuff.
Yeah. Well, this guy's in Turkey and he makes some great trems. He'll do a complete edge replacement in titanium if you've got a mortgage.
Because FU tone have started doing the full titanium business. When you look at it, it's like, wow, it's going to cost me like $1,000 for the trem system. But
I also, all my trems have the magic arm.
Okay.
Which is fitted on the Edge Zeros, but you can retrofit them on all the other ones because no one likes a floppy arm, do they? I don't.
Sometimes I do. It depends. Hang on.
I can't deal with it. I have to have it sort of when I'm picking. I have to have it sort of right there.
I use mine loads though. I've noticed the more and more, especially we do more recording, that I do use my bar a lot more than I thought I did. And mine are all set apart from, when we get into these, apart from my Ibanez ones, are set to only dive bomb, because I don't know if you've done the same thing, but you broke a string with a floating trem at a gig, and it's like, oh my god.
I don't know any different. I just love them floating. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, no, you can't bend this, that, and the other," but
you can. So you play around it. You get used to it.
Yeah, you do exactly
you compensate for it.
That's all I know. I mean, I grew up on like Brad Gillis and stuff like that pre-Vi, so that's my thing.
I mean, Vi does double stops. But the same thing is a lot of Vice trems have got the trem stopper in the back, haven't they? On certain ones of them, you know.
Yeah, but the way you play, you compensate by a little push down with it, and you just over the years you just compensate.
You do. You get around it, don't you, in your own nuances and things like that.
Yeah.
But now it's like the Edge Zero. The one complaint people used to say, and it's only because they didn't know how to set them up, and they're not hard when you take the back off and you look at it, but they couldn't get the gargle. They couldn't just flip the phone because it literally go nah.
You can on this.
But you can if you set it up right.
Yeah. I'll try and do it now and fail.
No pressure.
No, you definitely can on these.
Yeah, you can. Cool.
I mean, they work. Yeah.
So what mods have you done to that one then, apart from the trem bar?
These were the RG 2610s.
2610, that was what it was. Yeah.
They come out limited edition with the one pickup.
It was one EMG, wasn't it, at the time? One not, was it?
No, it was a Seymour Duncan full shred.
Yeah.
So,
and they did that. They had like lightning bolts on the neck, didn't they?
Not on this one.
Not on that one.
I've got two more. I scour them on eBay and I'll buy them up because they just work for me. But I had a guy in Eastbourne, Paul Stevens. He made a replacement neck.
Nice.
And for an old fart like me that can't see, he's put some really nice chunky blocks on it as well.
Is that neck the same sort of wizard shape, or is it? Like
It's between the two. It's between the new one and the old. I mean, do you know what? It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's got it's got a graphite rod in it as well. I think from what I can remember, he's just amazing. He just makes all these like RG inspired like 7 strings, 8 strings, and but he's done wonders on this. And of course I slap an EMG in it because I'm a
which one?
57.
57. Okay.
That is my favourite. 57 or 85 in the bridge for me. I used to play 81s in the 80s, but late 80s I switched because the 81s are ceramic. The 85s are Alnico. And they've got a much more. They're not as shrill for me.
That's generally my issue with EMG, but that's only really because I've only got one thing to compare it to.
Yeah.
The only guitar I've got is my Les EMGs in it, and my studio's got the Zach Wild set in it, so it's an 81 and 85, and it's very one.
Swap them round.
You'll
be amazed. Swap them round. You'll be amazed because they balance better as well.
I'll do that. That's another one. I could. It was always awesome if I was doing a certain thing. If I was playing metal or something, or if I was trying to be Zach Wild and play Aussie stuff, it was great. But and anything else, it doesn't really work for it.
The amount of people that use the 85. Steve Lookerton used to use the 85 in the bridge. The guys from Killswitch used to use the 85 in the bridge.
I love those guys. They were great to deal with.
Yeah, they used to use 85s in the bridge. Yeah, it's quite a forgotten pickup. It was one of the original ones as well. But they make some great pickups now. I mean, I know a lot of people poo-poo them and this, that and the other, but some of their passives are great. I mean, the Mighty Freeman set and all that.
Well, they've got a great range, to be honest. And
they're brilliant now.
And to be honest, on when they I've tried guitars with the EMG HZ ones on, you know those?
Yeah.
And they're great. You know, I really like those. I like certain sorts of pickups, but I also like it when a pickup surprises you because, like I say, you can have a pickup that you don't think is going to be particularly great, but in a particular guitar, it just works really, really well. It's like, hang on, this one. This is the Des.
Oh,
Des the Destroyer, right? This is from 2003. This is like one of the first guitars I bought when I started working there because I always wanted a Destroyer and they didn't make the full size one at the time because it only rarely comes back the Destroyer, doesn't it? You know, But this was they had this one and the Mini Iceman as well. But I love this because it was cool, and these were like $349 or something retail. Yeah. But these are only like the Infinity pickups, the INFS ones, right? And when I got it, I was literally like, well, I'm going to change the pickups. I never did, because for some reason these pickups. Now I've played these in lower priced RGs and not really dug them, because I actually love the V7 and V8 pickups in the S1 off the Japanese RGs. I mean, I know people that, like Chris Green was saying on a few weeks ago, he was saying that he's literally bought those pickups and put them in different guitars because they just got that right. It was just a really good pickup. But
great.
I thought I was going to change these, but for some reason, in this guitar, they just work great. They sound like an overwound path. It's just what you want, you know.
Yeah.
But
that's what the 57s are like. They're very path like. They don't have that. Voice is gone. They don't have that.
You need more beer.
Yeah, good idea. They're a bit more rounded.
Yeah,
the 57s, and they're probably my favourite out of. I've got guitars with the 57, the 85. I haven't used the 81 in years.
No,
I've used the retro active ones, the Fat 55 and the 77. They're really good as well. I mean, they've got everything.
I feel that they've had a little bit of the wind taken out their sails in the last few years with a lot of players choosing Fishman. You know, there's a big resurgence in big. They've sort of gone from not sort of being in that kind of pickup market to suddenly being like bang, 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 bang. It's the new flavour, isn't it?
Pretty much.
I've never tried them. No, I've never tried them.
I've tried some of them, and I'm a creature of habit, I suppose. I've played Ibanez since the 80s, and I played EMG since the mid 80s, and I do dabble. You know, it's just I try things out to see what I'm not missing, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And I've had a set of Fishmans here and that, and I'm just like, it is what it is. If you like them, you like them. I don't. You know, I mean, I've had a couple of Seymour Duncan distortions here, which I quite liked. So, I mean, they were probably right up my street. But
you ever been on the guitars with the JB in them? Because I like the JB.
Yeah,
but I just find it maybe, I don't know, too common. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say with that, but like it kind of does everything that I want it to do. But
yeah, I think the reason I got into EMGs, like during the 80s, you didn't have a lot of choice with gears, this, that, and the other. You had a Marshall JCM 800, and you needed that extra push.
Yeah. And
that extra push was always going to be in there because you always had your guitar and your amp. And if you forgot something, you always had that bit of extra push. And the amount of times I'd either forgotten a pedal, this, that, and the other, and it's just like I knew that was going to be the most reliable thing. And I think that's always stayed with me. They're there, they work. I change the batteries once a year, and I play a lot, so that's it. I change them I change all my guitars' batteries every January without fail. Habit. It's done. They last me a year, and I could turn up with a gig, an amp, guitar, done. Or whatever. Yeah. And I think that's because I hate. Having said that, the amount of rack gear I've had over the last 20 years, I've had it all, and it's just like I think coming out of the 80s and going to the 90s and noughties, you're like spoiled with all these choices, like a kid in the candy shop. It's all the stuff I could never have, you know. So I bought everything.
Well, it's like now. There's no better time to be a guitar player now. I mean, there's that much.
Oh, amazing
stuff. It's ace. You know,
probably too much choice. You know,
there is too much choice, but like it's insane the stuff that's available now, and also the stuff that's readily available on the internet for someone who wants to pick up a guitar. You know, it's like
amazing.
I used to wait for magazines for Tab so I could learn a song.
Just
go on YouTube and there's a 10-year-old Taiwanese kid just shredding, and you're like, okay, that's how you play it.
It's just like it was me with a cassette singing headphones and going backwards and forwards, wearing the clutch out on the cassette, or putting the needle up and down on the vinyl, going backwards and forwards, trying to slow it down a little bit, just trying to get that little lick. And but I think you get a good ear like that. I've got my,
I think that's where it comes from. Like now, that if I have to learn something, I pick it up by ear. Or I'll visually, or I've said that previously, I'll visually learn it quickly. I'll literally put someone on doing a cover on YouTube, watch it once, and I'll be like, cool, I'll play that tonight. No worries. I've seen it being done, great, and I'll take that and play the song, But
because
I can listen to something and literally go,
you can visualize it. Yeah,
not as good as Rick Beato does. I mean, that's epic. What he does.
That's just amazing.
Yeah.
As I say, we're talking about that metal video he did. That's just like, what's he doing there?
He's just figuring it out.
Amazing.
And then he just as he's figuring the guitar parts out, he literally just puts one hand over to the keyboard and plays a symphonic bit on the piano. Like it's like, okay, yeah, all right.
It's just like, I had a few swear words when I was watching that last night. I suppose he's got a really good ear. It's just amazing.
That's probably the most. I love watching his stuff because he's probably the most knowledgeable guy on music you're ever going to find. And I would recommend his channel to anybody because it's just so interesting. Especially a lot of his videos get demonetized because he's literally playing other people's music, but he doesn't care because he's getting the point across of what makes this song great.
But it's just, but whatever type of music you like, it's. The information's there, and I think that's especially sort of the music I play and some of the musicians I know, like the rock and metal musicians. I think they're a little bit narrow-minded sometimes. They don't listen to everything. I think if you listen to a lot more outside your lanes, I think you become a better player.
I think that's totally true, and that's also why I like it when he'll go through the top 10 Spotify pop songs. And you literally see there that this guy isn't there just to slag it off and say this is crap because I like rock. He's literally like, not my kind of thing, but that chord progression is fantastic and here's how you play it. And it's like, okay, it's like you
exactly.
See him. What's the big hit lately? Is it Driver's License or something that came out? And literally it's a great song with the girl singing it.
Yeah.
He puts it on. He's like, okay, starts off quite standard, then suddenly it hits this progression, and you see him just go, what is that? That is amazing, and it's like he just appreciates all music, and you're right.
Because it's
especially metal guys, man. Metal guys are so pigeonholed, Exactly.
I hate the word genre. It absolutely pisses me off. You either like music or you don't like it. You don't. Hate is something else. I hate that word. I hate using the word hate. I hate that word. But it's just like it's like I could be in like in a pub or something, and someone get, well, I can't at the moment, but you're in a pub or something, and someone puts some stuff in the jukebox and literally looks at the long-haired guy who dresses like I did. You won't like this. Well, how do you know what I like? Well, you like rock and metal, don't you? I like anything as long as it's good. I don't hate anything. Yeah.
Might not like things as much as I like other things, and I might not want to listen to because it's not my bag, but I'll never hate on it because it's music.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, I grew up.
You've been all over the place. Let's go into
it was Dad's job. We got dragged all around the world. He was in the army during the 60s, so we were in Germany during the 60s, and then come back to glorious Eastbourne, the home of thrash metal. There's a story about that. I'll tell you later.
Isn't it the thrash? It's like the Bay Area in San Francisco, isn't it?
well, we got Pevensey Bay, so it's the Bay Area. See, all these bands that come out of Eastbourne, they all said, "Oh, no, fuck that. We all come from Brighton."
Doesn't look so good when you say that now, does it?
Virus, quite a well-known thrash band. They all came from Eastbourne, right? They used to live up the road in a house. My brother, who was in Death Wish, who went on tour with Motorhead and everything, obviously come from Eastbourne. I was in Hydra Vein. They were based in Brighton, but it's just it's the home of heavy metal. Well, it is in the South Coast.
Keep your Birmingham and all that. It's Eastbourne. That's heavy metal. Thrash came from Eastbourne.
Zimmer, what we call Zimmer rock.
Zimmer rock.
I've lost my trend. Oh yeah, I was because my influence is like really weird because we got dragged all over the world, and West Africa, and I got involved. I got a love for soul music. I was big Tower of Power, sort of Earth, Wind and Fire, all that stuff, all the groove stuff, all the soul stuff. I love all the soul stuff. I mean, the Motown stuff is just like, it's just like amazing. Like you hear it's like a riff from, was it the Detroit Spinners, like I'll Be Around. It's such a cool chord progression. And I'm a massive Nile Rodgers fan. I think he's just absolutely amazing. Just that whole,
because you can't do it, can you? It's like he's so idiosyncratic with him. That's his thing. It's like the same thing where they say like no one swings like the king. It's like Eddie Van Halen. People can't get that swing. And Niall's the same for that percussive style of rhythm. It's just you can't do it. You know?
It's a feel thing, and and I was brought up on. So we lived with Swedes and Germans, so I was subjected like James Last and ABBA and all that. So I love that inbuilt, the melodic, all that. The Germans just love all that, because Boney M was a manufactured pop band out of Germany, so we had all subjected to all of that. And then we moved to Ireland in late 70s, and that I was probably about 15, 16 then. So it was a bit of a culture shock, but that's where I got my love of heavy metal and rock and that, because all the guys I was with, we were in this little village in the middle of Ireland, and it had a record shop. And amazing, these guys just they did brainwash me. And always like UFO and Scorpions, and then they took me to my first gig, which was Thin Lizzy on the Black Rose tour.
Wow!
In a little ball I was starting to get into Gary Moore and guitar playing then. I thought, I'm going to see Gary Moore. He'd left. Snowy White. My first gig, and I went to see Gary Moore. It's like Snowy White. I was absolutely gutted. And then in Ireland at the time, you got the show band circuit, so you're getting all these like cover bands and absolutely amazing musicians and that. So it's like hanging around with them. That's when I started to pick up the guitar, because I was a bit of a late starter. So I was 16, 17, and and I remember going to a gig, Rory Gallagher, and I met Rory Gallagher twice.
Wow.
Two different. That's why I wear plaid shirts. It's like, and that's why I've beaten up guitar. It's just like Rory Gallagher's amazing. It's just like he had that attack. He had that attack like Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know, it's just like I'm not a lover of blues stuff, but like the way Rory plays, just like had that real.
It was fire, wasn't it? And like you said, with Stevie Ray as well, it was just a tap on the guitar to get those emotions and those sounds out of it. You know, it's primal. I love it. Yeah, it's like they're going to hit a bend here that's going to make you wince as a guitar player, and hold it, and you literally listen to it going, that kills, and you can tell that it kills, and you can't necessarily tell that it's hurt in their hands.
Yeah,
but it must be. You know what I mean? It's just that.
But I had this real affinity towards Rory Gallagher, because he's like on stage he was like a real larger than life character, but he was so unassuming off stage, so quiet, really well, really softly spoken. And I don't know, I've always had a little bit of a stutter, and that it was probably worse when I was singing. I just sort of appreciated that you could. I think that's what got me into the playing guitar, because it's almost like you can get away from it life. Do you know what I mean? It's that was my entry into it. It's like Rory, Thin Lizzy, and all the guys in Ireland getting me into all this metal and rock and everything. It was just like and Guinness, and yeah.
So when did you discover thrash then? Because like you were like you're in the sort of pioneering era of thrash, really, with Hydra Vein and that, wasn't it? You know, so
well, both me and my brother started playing the same time, so we moved back to the UK. I went out to Egypt for a bit with my dad, and another thing there, I was watching this guy playing Carlos Santana stuff. I thought, this is amazing. So it made me even more determined to sort of, when I got back to the UK, just really get into it. So me and my brother got dug in. He was on the bass, I was on the guitar, and this is like early 80s, very early 80s, because we were both at college at the time, so we didn't have anything else to do during the day, but drink and play guitar. So we were like pushing each other. And my brother is one of these people that you hate, that he would just pick it up and a natural. And
right. Then what? One of them.
One of them. And he would hate me for saying that, but he like pushed me all the time. He like pushed me because he could just pick it up and play it, and I was working at it, and I'm one of these like reluctant lead guitarists because I was always like big Rick Parfitt fan during the 70s. That's all I wanted to do. Malcolm Young, Rick Parfitt banging out the riffs, time for a beer, this sort of the other. None of this fancy stuff, but he kept pushing. No, you're the only guitarist in the band. You've got to do it, So I started listening to like the Montrose record. Do you remember the first one?
Yeah.
I absolutely love that album.
It's great.
So the first band we were in we were doing all of that. And what else we were doing? Yeah, Montrose stuff, Y&T stuff.
Oh right, okay.
Like that, and then of course via America and Kerrang and some of the magazines, you started hearing all this stuff coming in, through the tape trading and everything like that, and always like all this thrash stuff coming in, and because just all that 80s stuff was brilliant, loved it. And then we slowly started getting into that. I think it was Slayer's first album, and probably Kill 'Em All. I forget who had somebody had the demo, Kill 'Em All. It was just it, and I used to just sit there in the evenings on the E string.
Yeah,
that was it. It was just that. Chug life. It's a way of life,
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it is. It is an art form. People say but not many people can do it.
There ain't many people on earth with a right hand like James Hetfield. I've got to tell you. All the down picking stuff and all that is like insane. In fact, a lot of people playing that miss that completely and don't notice that it is down picked, but it is. It's like,
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And so I think I had a steep learning curve, and it was looking back on it now. There's like a 5-year, 6-year period where both me and my brother were went like that. We were like in a gigging band. A local gigging band in Eastbourne that everybody hated us because we were a heavy metal band, and we used to put on a show and spit blood and everything. Maybe we sounded shit then, but I can't remember. But it was all about the show.
You must have been into Wasp then.
Yeah, we were. That's a bit. I was a massive Chris Holmes fan for some reason. We can talk about that guitar. That's my picture. Yeah, one of my first guitars. One of my first 2 guitars, Ibanez Destroyer.
Everybody wants that.
I had an Antoria Destroyer as well, or it was Antoria Explorer as it was, and they were my 2 prized possessions. But I think it must have been about 84. I was having my Chris Holmes thing, and me and my dad took a saw to one of them. Pretty well cut that off and that down there and sprayed it black. 1 pickup, 1 volume.
Did it sound great? Did it sound great?
Yeah, I thought it did, but my lack of foresight, it was a bit because I'd taken a big chunk of wood out.
Yeah.
And I do regret selling the other one though. Even now, it's just soul destroying.
Pete Thorne's just bought one, hasn't he? He's just got on his videos. He's got one like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then what else? I stuck to the Japanese guitars after that. I went to the Aria Wildcat. Lucky, see, I've come prepared tonight, Chris. You see,
great. That's great. Love it.
Yeah. I had one of those. Mine was a Hellcat. It was pretty cheaper because I had a Floyd Rose put on it. Yeah. That's me.
So back in the with the matching cab.
Yeah, matching cab because I ripped all the pickups out apart from the bridge one, and we painted our cabs red, and the whatever was left of the pick guard was painted red as well.
That's epic. That's epic branding. That is. That's great.
No, what else we used to do? We didn't have monitors, couldn't afford monitors, so we used to get some old 4x12s, cut them in half, and cut a wedge on them.
Just make them out of that.
Yeah,
Oh,
we had H&H little power amps.
Brilliant.
So we used to run them off the PA. Yeah, it's
So
proper old school.
Hang on though, there's some interest in that because you got obviously if you're using 412s, you were using the speakers that were in the 412s, so we're using guitar speakers, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Iommi still does that. Iommi's wedges are made with vintage 30s
Yeah.
or whatever in them. Because he wants the same sound to come out the wedges. He wants a guitar sound to come out the wedges, not a normal monitor sound. So it makes perfect sense to me. You know.
Yeah, our greenbacks in my 4x12, which I've still got in my basement, and I think they were old high watt cabs that we cut up, but they were great monitors.
Well, you don't want high watt behind you in a thrash band, do you? Doesn't it? You might as well put them on the floor, and you're not Pink Floyd. You know, it's like. You know.
Well, if you can chuck beer on them, you don't mind, do you? It's like,
I'm not bagging high watt, but they're not what you'd associate with thrash or metal, are they? They've got a very specific sound, you know, and it ain't metal.
Yeah. So my brother ended up joining a Brighton band, Death Wish, who recorded an album, and then they went on tour with Motorhead.
Wow.
So I was feeling a little bit dejected. So we used to go up to Hammersmith Odeon a lot, and we'd seen Metallica, and I think it was at the Anthrax Testament gig. The guys from Hydra Vein were looking for another guitarist, so I joined them. So I spent 7 months rehearsing over in Brighton, over the Downs, and then we recorded this monstrosity. That was voted worst album cover in Kerrang and Raw magazine, 1988.
And were you proud of that? Was it like...
No, we were absolutely. We got outvoted. Our manager at the time decided it was a great cover. We thought it was shit, but it's come back to. I don't know. It's what people remember us by, and the songs, of course.
You still do like gigs and stuff every now and again, like reunion shows,
no.
Yeah.
My last gig last year,
yeah,
in February the 29th, was the first time we played in 32 years.
Wow.
So we had a quick few rehearsals before Christmas. Bearing in mind, we hadn't run through this stuff, and everybody's playing style had changed, and this, that, and the other. Mm. We got through it, and our original singer had committed suicide in 2002. So we had to, and one of our guitarists had committed suicide as well. So it was almost like a curse on this band. Yeah. And no, we got another singer in, James, to fill in, and piled up to Newcastle, Brofest. And that's an amazing festival. You get all these like new wave of British heavy metal bands and semi down the tiers bands, and they all get together every year and they put on this fair festival. Brilliant. Seen some many great bands. Absolutely brilliant.
I've never been to that one before. I've never been to Brofest. Yeah,
Newcastle. It was in the university this year. It was brilliant. Yeah. Oh, I met some great people up there. They all fly in from Mexico and everywhere to see all these bands. Yeah. I'll tell you what's there this year. Heavy Petting. Do you remember them?
Oh yeah. I don't own anything. Scots. I remember it. Yeah.
Scots band. They were like the Scots Def Leppard. Yeah. They were there. They were brilliant. Yeah. Bands like that. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant.
Do you know what I think? Do you find this as well, that there's still a lot, and probably building by the day, there's a lot of love for the 80s rock coming back now.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've got to look at it in terms of what rock festivals are getting as headlines. I mean, you look at Download next year, Iron Maiden and Kiss. It's like it could be 1987, 1985, couldn't it? But there's nobody that stepped up to take that level of.
There's not. I mean, there's a few bands bubbling under. I mean, I think there's some great bands out there, but I do feel for them because they're not getting past that. The ones that have been there for decades, you know, and I don't know why that is, or maybe
I think maybe it's just down to the fact that the model has completely changed in the industry.
Yeah,
it's not. in the past where you'd be a mega fan and you'd buy every single and you'd buy every picture disc and you'd buy every album. You'd wait like with bated breath for your favorite album to come out.
Yeah,
now it's too accessible now. It doesn't matter.
I think we were, like we were talking earlier about that air of mystery is gone. You haven't got that anticipation, and nothing's building up now. It's just like gone, isn't it?
You've gone past the time of you look at, for example, Iron Maiden's fans never leave them, because the older generation of Iron Maiden fans, the true fans, were those guys in the 80s that bought every picture disc, every back patch. Single. Every album was a massive thing. They went to every gig, and now they took their kids to the gigs, and their kids are massive fans now, and they are proud to wear those Iron Maiden t-shirts, those Iron Maiden back patches on a denim jacket, and it's like their religion to them. And it's the same with AC/DC and bands like that, and to a different extent, to a stadium rock extent, and same with like Van Halen in the States was. There's that. It's almost religious that you follow those bands, and whatever they bring out, you buy. But now that is completely gone because people don't need to. For a start, it doesn't. They don't have to invest any money really into being a fan of a band because it's readily streamable anywhere.
Yeah,
they haven't got a what's the word? In their head, they've literally got. I spend my money on this band because I love this band. You don't have to now. You don't.
No, you don't.
So
everything's on here, and it's instant access, and it's in and gone.
Correct.
You haven't got that. Whereas you got vinyl before. I used to love just sitting there listening to music and reading the notes. I mean, that's all gone. I mean, I totally get it, and it's probably a generational thing, and generation before that was probably different with Frank Sinatra, but I think it's getting more and more throwaway for instant. And then you've got the whole vitriol of comments, and hate, and this, that with music and genres. I just hate that word. It's
just completely changed. I might be wrong, but I don't think you'll get what acts are missing. The reason why acts aren't getting to the past that sort of, they're not grabbing the brass ring, that's probably not there anymore, because fans don't have to be as rabidly infatuated with the band anymore. They don't. They're desensitized to it. It's not like in the past where you'd know from reading Metal Hammer that the next AC/DC record was going to be out on the 26th of January or something, and that was in your head. I'm waiting for the new AC/DC album. I'm going to be at HMV on the first day buying the new AC/DC album, and I'm going to listen to every damn song in it because I bought it on vinyl, and I can't just skip the song I want and just buy it. I mean, it was like, it's not the same.
I think what a lot of rock and metal fans, and probably some bands, this is just from a personal point of view. I mean, if you look at the hip hop world and stuff like that, and especially the hip hop world, because you don't have, they make shitloads of money, or the ones that are good make absolute shitloads of money, but they've got no outgoings as such. They can sit in a room like this and they can completely do the lot. A lot of rock bands doing that, but they can make a lot of money doing this.
They can make a lot of money with a 10 quid sample pack with 700 loops on it.
And country and western country music makes a lot of money in America, but that is just a massive industry anyway, absolutely huge. And I think I've got to be careful what I say, because sometimes I'll piss a lot of my friends off by saying this, but I think sometimes the rock and metal people need to actually wake up and move on a bit, rather than living in the, it's just like you got guys like Ola England now. He's just like he's taking it that way. He's going forward with it. He's diversifying.
Totally.
It's tough. I mean, I'm glad I'm not sort of full on with it now. I'm just in loads of cover bands.
There's no wrong with that. Because
I love it.
It's the best. It's the best feeling. It's like the chat we had with Rob a couple of weeks ago. Some really insightful stuff in that. With literally the thing that sticks with me is letting people know that as soon as you record some some of your own music and you put it out, you're in the music business now.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a middleman anymore. So you either treat it like that's what you're doing or you don't. But when you put it out, it's out there. You know, you're in the business. Get ready for the comments. Get ready for all that. You know, it's like
But that's what I like about now. Is for me, I can sit here and be creative. Okay, I miss the whole thing of being in a band room or rehearsal room, being creative with like-minded people or not so like-minded people, because sometimes you get that buffer, don't you? You get but I like being in control of what I do now, and I know that I'm in control. I'm not relying on being ripped off by an 80s record shitty contract that we all had, and managers that probably made quite a bit of money out of us. And I'm in control of what I do here, and I can put what I want out when I want, which is what I do now. I mean, I've got my cover band live stuff I do to get my life fix, and I sit out here and get creative,
Same here, man. It's like if I didn't get back into recording in lockdown, I don't know what I'd be doing, because literally I went from doing like 120 gigs a year to being completely nothing, and I was like, right, I'm going to set a challenge now. We're going to write a song. We're going to write, record, and release a song with a video every week, and literally just me writing music here on this laptop and programming drums and recording all the guitars and the bass and sending it to a singer who then literally listen to it and be like, I'll write some lyrics and I'll sing them into my iPhone and then send that back to you, and then we'll see where it goes. And then, okay, by Thursday we need to do a video. So everyone's filming their own videos and then send them back to me. I'm putting them together, and Friday it's out. And literally it's great. I love it.
It's good fun. I mean, as I say, if I wasn't working, I mean, because we worked all the way through the pandemic, because I worked for probably the biggest pharmaceutical wholesaler in the UK, so we've been full on with all that.
Prepping with getting the 5G to everybody.
My neighbours call me a drug dealer, so I probably am. Yeah. I mean, whatever goes into a pharmacy or a hospital, I deliver it at some point.
You're the man. You're the Escobar. Whatever.
I am. Yeah. I am the man.
I'm just gonna call you Heisenberg for the rest of the interview.
Yeah. It's funny because it's a job I've been doing since I left Hydra Vein, and I thought I'd do it for a couple of years and something else to turn up musically, and it never did. But having said,
you've never lost a single inch of love for what you do. You still record.
Oh no!
You still
absolutely
you're still mad on gear, always.
It's like no. It's just like, it's probably through all the shits and up and down in my life, music is probably the thing that's kept me sane. I mean, especially guitar playing. I mean, but I always had a love of music before, and I'll have a love of music afterwards, because at the moment I've got Dupuytren's disease, both hands. So at some point my fingers are going to go like that. So, but you can have a knot, but who wants to be having their hands all cut up? But
just keep them limber by playing lots.
It is what it is, So that's why I love playing even more now, and just making the most of it. And I have a laugh at the gigs we do and that, and
Well, there's different things like if I don't, I look at it with myself, for example. If I didn't take an interest in music and pick up a guitar, it's pretty much shaped my whole life, and I wouldn't have been interested in having the career that I had. And that was great. Went all over the world with it, met some amazing people, got lots and lots of knowledge, and loved every second of it. But also something equally as important to me, and actually more important, was being a carer and being able to sit in this room here with my mum in her chair and her asking me just to play guitar to keep her entertained, and literally with a little battery Black Star Fly, which sound great by the way. They're ace. Sat here and her asking me to play, and just playing loads of different rock stuff because she loved watching me play, and that's worth everything. It was fantastic. I mean, she even bought me and I've got loads of amps and stuff like that are loud and stuff. But I used to take her to a big Merry Hill Centre, a big shopping centre in the Midlands. And because it was easy for me, because in a wheelchair it was perfect. There was lifts to everything. It was all completely smooth. So
Yeah.
Towards every Christmas, we'd go Christmas shopping. I'd walk around Merrill. It was because you didn't get out much because I had to carry her to the car and everything like that, you know. But because the wheelchair access was so good in places in Merrill, it was like a nice day out because we could go and have some food. We could in and out of shops. It was big enough. It was just a lovely day out for us, really. And the last Christmas before she died, like we went into, there was a musician store in there, it was basically like a glorified Fender dealership, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
It had all this Fender stuff and Squire stuff. It had a merch section and all that, so it was good for just getting t-shirts. But I used to love going in there anyway, and I'd always pick up like some guitar polish or some strings or something.
Yeah.
Like a couple of two t-shirts, 20 quid. Can't go wrong, can you? When it's like, you know, band shirts and that was great. We went in there and actually they were literally, she knew I'd got this little battery Black Star thing, and they just brought out like the version 2 of the ID Core Studio little amps, 89 quid. And literally, she basically threw a fit in this shop because, oh, that's good. I like that. That's like the little one you've got, but a little bit bigger. I was like, Mum, I don't need an amp. I've got literally like loads of amps and things to play through. And she just literally, I wasn't leaving that shop until she got it because she wouldn't let me. She was like, no, we're not leaving this shop. I've got my disability allowance coming and all this. I like it when you play guitar. That looks good. And she liked the box looked lovely, you know, because it was all point of sale up and everything. And literally, she bought it 89 quid, and that was my Christmas present. And literally, she made me play through that every day, you know, for the next 7 months that she was alive. Like, you know, it was like that was her thing. So if it weren't for guitar playing and music, that wouldn't have happened. You know, I wouldn't have been able to offer that, which she loved to see me do. You know?
Yeah, it's therapy. It is a kind of therapy. Music. It is. I'm a firm believer. If you showed more kids and people how to play an instrument, I think they'd get so much more out of it. For me, it's like a calming thing. I'll come out here. I may not do much. I'll just pick up the guitar, and it's just like world goes away.
Me too.
You know. Especially now, you know.
Well, the thing I'm missing the most is, like I say, playing live. Because when I'm up there, I don't think about anything else, and it's the best feeling in the world. You know, I love it. It's all gone, and it all just comes out of the strings, and then the gig's over, and I have to be on the motorway again or whatever. But it's worth some of the gigs we play. We're traveling for 4 hours each way to get there. We know we always come home. We never stay over. We always come home stupid.
Same as
but it's worth it, man. Just love it, and it's like so guitar to me. It's like I'm a confident guy. You have to get confident when you've got red hair growing up, like, you know. If you don't, you sink or swim.
You soon learn. Yeah. I was the same as me. I was bullied as a kid, so I had all of that. I suppose that you end up going into yourself, and it's almost like I put that guitar on. It's like, and when I first started playing, I wasn't very confident on stage, but over the years and more gigs, and you think, fine, it's almost empowering, you know.
Yeah, I always say it's like Batfink's Shield of Steel, isn't it? It's like, you can't do this, and I love it. And I love it when someone gives you any kind of heckling. It's like, well, can you do this? And then just exactly tear their face off. But, you know, it's like.
But I also like nothing better than dropping an absolute clanger. I'm laughing about it because it is what it is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's all part of the process, man. I love it. So anyway, go back to, like, you know, guitars and from the 80s. I mean, when did you discover Ibanez then? Because, like, you must have been there at the cusp of when Ibanez suddenly went just popped up, you know, with the RG and that, you know.
Well, I had the Destroyer, so I was already on the radar, and then I was Japanese guitars all up that. I had the Arias and Alan Fernandez, Randy Rhodes, and then I think that's when when did all the Vi ads start coming out? I can't remember. I remember the RG.
It would have been 88 when they launched the Gem. They launched the Gem and the RG at the same time.
Yeah, I think it was about then. I think I got my first RG. It was a white one. I remember it because that's the one I lost, and that's why this one is. I got this one in my lockdown purchase, and it's replaced. I love this. It's probably going to be my favourite guitar now.
It reminds me of if J.K. Lee played Ibanez.
but the tone control and the other pickups came out quite quickly.
Yeah, they got.
Unbelievably.
They
No one needs that shit. Yeah, and as I say, I did it. Got the magic arm on it. It's perfect. Yeah, it's just I can't recommend those enough. Those trem arms, they're brilliant.
I've got a white. I've got a white one here that's not like yours.
Yeah. And then I got this thing. This is my my 1991 RG 565 that has been absolutely
wow
brutal. I'll show you a picture of it when it was. I'll find it now. Yeah, that's the many incarnations of it.
Wow,
that was
you know
it.
what? I didn't realize that was the same guitar.
Yeah. Wow. It's just got. It was blue, and then of course I've got quite acidic sweat and a heat gun and whatever. And then Max Cotton had it for a bit. He repaired it and put the neck on it. The what do you call it? The vine inlay on the neck.
The tree of life.
Yeah, Tree of Life. That's it. Yeah, he did a cracking job on that. And
I've not spoke to Max for years. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's really lovely. But he did his magic on this. He stripped it all the way back. He said it was a bastard to get it back down to. But yeah, that's that. That's got an 85 in it. Magic arm and a little go-to knobs on it. I like the little things. But that. I love this guitar. It's 30 years old now, and it's as light as anything.
Was that your first Ibanez then? That one?
No,
your first RG. Or...
No, this is my third one. I had the white one, and then I had a yellow one. The white one got nicked, and then the yellow one I sold to buy this. So it was the days of buying, and you have to sell to buy. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I've had this since. Yeah.
Do you know what I like?
Love this guitar.
Do you know what I like about RGs? Really, is that you can have totally different kinds of RGs. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that shape lends itself to so many different interpretations. Really, it's like this is my number one Ibanez, which I got. Do you remember Percy Pryor's music?
Yeah.
The adverts that used to be. Well, this was from their Birmingham store, and I got this in 1997. This is a 2006, and it's a Fujigen one. It's an RG 507.
507, yeah.
So it's the one with the flip flop kind of paint in it. It looks black, but
yeah.
It's actually gold under the light.
Yeah.
It's got edge on it. V7, V8, and S1. But it's my actual first Ibanez was a Japanese one, and it kind of spoilt me really because
that's the trouble.
Yeah. This thing's obviously a wizard neck on it. There's still an incarnation of this guitar in every catalogue still, isn't there? It's just that And this
brilliant.
This was 800 quid and didn't come with a case then. They didn't come with a case. Obviously now you get a hard case with every Prestige, but this didn't come with one. But this was the first one I got, my first Ibanez, and it's just great. But you go from like this is your typical Ibanez setup, isn't it? You know, hum single, hum, H trem. That's kind of the grail to me really with this kind of guitar.
I just find having those extra pickups, they get in the way of my picking for some reason.
This is lowered right down because it gets in the
way.
You
have to slap them right down,
Yeah. But I don't really play this one much, and I should play it more because it's awesome, you know. But I don't. It's got a few.
But they're great. They're really versatile. They're really versatile guitars, especially with the pickups like that. I mean, you can do anything with those.
You can, but then you go from this one to.
The old.
This is the old Mick Thompson one.
Mick one, yeah.
And this is from when I played in Panic Cell.
Yeah.
There's the tune in. Because at the time I got to do those tour and festival run with them, it was like, well, obviously I wanted to play Ibanez because I wanted to support the brand, and literally they were, well, choose a guitar to use on tour, okie dokie. And I just wanted something that I could be in drop C, looked cool on stage, sounded really aggressive.
Yeah, and they do.
And stayed in tune. Now, this one, I can't figure out why, whether it's the weight of it, because I think these are mahogany bodies on these.
Yeah.
That trem's got no trem arm. It's obviously, it's a lockdown, and it's solid as, it's ultra solid. These are the Duncan actives in it.
Yeah.
Which sound really good.
Yeah, they are good, yeah.
But the weird thing is, it feels, it almost feels like a set neck when you play it. It's got weight to it, and it's got a weird neck carve on it. It's got like the special neck carve, which is actually it's like thicker at the thumb end than it is at the bottom. So it's kind of like, I'm not really that kind of player, but it stayed in tune the whole tour. It was just like, it's got one knob on it. It was just literally it's just a metal machine, but I can't get around. There's something about it. It does feel like a set neck guitar, even though it's a bolt on. It just does. It's just like, it just does that. But like I say, it's a completely different type of RG, but still that.
I've never played. Yeah, I've never played with those. Yeah,
they're great. I don't know how much they go for now, but they are stunning. I mean, it's got too many pickups for you, like, but. but I just went with the white. I went with the white because white with black binding just looks killer. And the reverse headstock, it's great.
So I've got some white gaffer tape. I can fill that hole in the front.
You can do that. These are the Indonesian ones, and they're just solid. They're just solid metal guitars,
I'll tell you what. I've got an FR iron label, and that guitar is weird. It's light. The Telecaster one with the charcoal finish on it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that is one of the greatest guitars I've played. I use it for rehearsal and that because it's easy just to chuck it in and can change drop tuning and that. And for such a light guitar, it's got such a meaty. It's just really, really weird. You wouldn't think it would have that real meat to it, but it has.
Yeah. No, they were great guitars. They were great guitars. Did you do any other shape ones? Did you have, like? I know you had the Destroyer. Did you ever any different sort of like Ibanez?
No, I haven't had the.
You didn't have an Iceman.
I keep looking. My mate's got an Iceman, and I love playing it, and I've been toying with the idea of getting. Is it the Xiphos?
Xiphos is cool.
Yeah. I've been toying with the idea, but I can't seem to see one, a top spec one that's in my price range.
I used to love the first Xiphos that came out because it was the flip flop paint one when you Chameleon, Red Chameleon it was called. So it was like red when you flipped it over and it went green. Yeah. Yeah,
and there's a German guy on Instagram. I forget what band he's in, but he's just had a custom. Destroyer made, and it's like it's red, but it's got like green pickups, and it's got one pickup. It's just absolutely stunning. I mean, that's another thing. I might get an old Destroyer and just,
I've only got the one Iceman, but mine's a bit. I wished I'd have bought an IC 400, which was the proper big headstock. I mean, this one's it's like more of a shreddy Iceman.
Yeah.
So you got the reverse headstock on it. It was put in with the X series, so it's kind of a metal Iceman really, because Iceman should have block inlays and the big 3-a-side headstock, but this is set neck.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It is, but it's actually really, you wouldn't think, but it's proper neck heavy. You put it on a strap and lift it, it's like that. But I don't think even that bridge is a standard Iceman bridge. It hasn't got the tailpiece. It's string through with that. But these pickups in this one are Damasio deactivators.
All right, yeah.
They're great. I don't know whether it's just this particular guitar, but it's so meaty. But it's like it's huge for doing like rock and metal rhythms. But you can hear every string.
Every string,
They're so harmonically rich. If you get me, it's like you could, if you don't go crang, you it's like You can't hear it now because it's not plugged in. I sound a bit like Nigel
Yeah.
Tufnell, but you know what I mean? but it is neck heavy.
Yeah.
This, like I said to you before, this was a back from the dead guitar, you know. But for recording like rhythms, it's absolutely fantastic. I don't think they still make these, but I always loved the more traditional Iceman. This is kind of a bit of a mongrel to me, but it's got its place, you know. I can't play it in a Bon Jovi tribute band, but
I mean, I don't know why Ibanez don't make more reverse headstocks. They're just sexier, you know. It's just
they do look great.
They do.
The only other one here is this, which is the RGE 7321.
Yeah.
Which is the basic 7-string, but it's got DiMarzio paths in it, which are upgraded.
Yeah.
And this body is actually in 2 pieces. I think it got run over by somebody, but if you look, there's a huge crack right down it.
Oh yeah, I can just see it. Yeah.
And it got glued together for me, so I put some stickers to cover the to cover the crack at the back. But it's obviously nothing that could be sold or anything because it was in 2 bits. But it took a while to put it back together. But this is my token sort of 7-string RG, but it's one of those guitars. I need one of these because if you're going to get a 7-string, it's always going to be an Ibanez because they make the best ones.
I think so.
And for a fixed bridge version, for me, it's just great. You know, obviously I do things to these. Like over the years, I've kind of crowned all the frets and done the fret edge treatment, and they're all polished up, which I do to all my guitars. The backs, even though there's no lacquer on it as such, it's still like 1,000 grit sanded down. So it's
so I do that to all my necks. Yeah.
Because it's a 7-string, there's no truss rod holes because I'm always in there. but this one's just a beast. But I had to cover it in stickers because literally it's split in half.
It's all right. It gives it character, you know. It's the way I look at it.
It does. So what about amps then, man? Let's quick go through amps because I know we said basically earlier we had a quick chat about you were always Mr. GH in the UK.
I was, and then
with your modifications to it. And
with modifications, and then I had a couple of 5150s, 6505s. I used them quite a bit, and I started it was just more my thing, and EVH 50-watt heads now. I've got 2 or 3 of those and just love them to death. Just best amps I've ever had. So I mean,
have you tried the 100-watt?
No.
I have. Well, I'm a Van Halen nut. I mean, people who watch this channel may have realised that the guitars have changed behind me today, especially for Dan because he's such an Ibanez nut. I get a couple out and just to say this is not a sponsored video at all. It's just a nerd session. But the 100-watt to me, I like the 50-watt because channel 2 on the 50-watt to me just sounds a bit more aggressive and tight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I use. People say, "Oh, why'd you do that?" It's shit. I used the red channel for everything.
Right. Okay.
Right. So I'm old school. 2 years ago, I mean, I had the whole TCG major, this, that, and the other. I've used TCG majors for about 15 years. You know, the old black one and then the new one. I had it all whole MIDI sort of thing. But you know, I don't know. It was just like it was part of me thinking, spend more time bloody faffing and this, that, and the other. And so this last lockdown, I ripped everything out, sold the lot, sold all the MIDI stuff, and now I've just got EVH head, couple of pedals, couple of Boss pedals, noise gate in the loop, delay in the loop. I'll tell you what I've got is, I just love it. I use the red channel for everything, and I roll back, and if I want, depending on which band I'm playing with, because I'm in like a 5-piece 2 guitar band, or I'm only guitar on the other. It depends. If we need the clean channel, then I'll take the foot pedal along. But this for me is my favourite pedal.
Oh, okay.
It's a delay boost. So you put it in your loop, and of course you get hit the button.
Yeah.
You get the lead volume and delay straight off.
Perfect.
And the local techie guy, you know, he's put a remote switch in it, so I can literally leave it on top of my head.
Yeah.
And run it from the front. Yeah. I've got about 2 or 3 of these now, and I absolutely love these pedals. They've got trails on them as well, so when you kick it off, the delay still keeps going.
Great.
Yeah. And I've got that. I've got a chorus pedal. I've got my little mini Morley wah. I'll show you my little pedal board in a minute because it's self-powered. And
what, do you have to keep pumping the wah to keep it powered?
No. I'll show you. Yeah. Right. That is my little pedal board.
And it's got a clock on it as well, I like that.
Well, that's cover band, isn't it? You've got to be off and out, you know.
Yeah,
it's
exactly,
just like,
yeah.
When's last orders? You need that clock on there.
You need it, yeah.
you're going to miss that last beer. Yeah, so I've got a little, I like the old NS Boss noise gate, so I haven't got it set up. I'm not a genty type guy. It's just there just to stop the hiss.
You're like me, aren't you? It's in the loop on barely anything.
Barely anything.
I use the Mxr Smart Gate. I do the same thing. It's barely on.
Yeah, I was using that. Yeah,
I love them. Yeah,
and I got delay, but the Tech 21 delay boost. My little mini Morley Maverick wah, me tuner Shaw thing, and this gets switched out depending on which band. I mean, it's like for the one guitar band. I mean, I've got a Boss PS harmonist.
Okay.
So I can cover all Instant Iron Maiden, cover all the bits and that.
Yeah.
But if I'm in the other band, I'll have a Boss chorus in there just for bits and pieces. Yeah. But that's it. And what I love about it is I got one of these Palmer backpacks. Charge it up. I'll get about 4 or 5 gigs and a couple of rehearsals out of that. I don't need any power leads to it.
That's ace.
There's different things on the market, and of course you don't get no noise and stuff.
No, you're not going to get any power ground or anything like that. No,
it's brilliant. And I've got to have me LED light in there. It's just,
of course you have. Yeah.
Just
we all like Knight Rider. We like lights. Yeah.
you got to know where your pedal board is when you're pissed. You know?
Oh, exactly. That's why I love the Helix, because it's got all them lights.
Yeah.
Strips
exactly
on it.
That. Yeah.
The thing I like about the 50 watts is, because I've got 50 watt as well. I've got the 50 watt head and the 50 watt combo.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I can program it to run with the Helix with MIDI, and it'll change the channel.
That's brilliant.
I love it. I love being able to go to press one button, it changes the channel, puts 3 different, puts a bit of chorus and delay on for a certain song or a like you say, for a solo. Yeah.
That's what I was doing with the G major. Yeah, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I love that. I love the fact that it works with MIDI, and I think you see more amp companies doing that now, but a lot of them don't yet.
Yeah,
and it's such a thing that people need.
Yeah,
I mean, forget the big board. I could literally take a 5150 and that, and a wah pedal, and a wah pedal.
Love those. Yeah,
that would
that's all you need.
Change my sounds and a wah, and that's the lot. You know.
Yeah, that's all you need. Yeah.
So,
yeah, I used to have a rack wah and everything. I had the old Dunlop rack wah and everything, the whole lot. But I thought to myself, I'm turning up at some of these pub gigs with like a stadium.
I saw
to let it go, you know.
But sometimes maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I mean, I saw a guy, literally, I nearly pissed myself laughing. I booked a band for my local pub the once. Turned up, and it's literally the lounge of a pub. It's not very big, you know. So you're in the corner there. The drummer goes in the corner. You try and wedge them in so you can still get people.
Yeah.
And if you want to see how big it is, you just basically look at the Facebook page of the pub and you get an idea of where you're going to go. And the guy turned up with 2 Hughes and Kettner full stacks.
Ooh.
Yeah. And it was like, right, so you're going to be able to have them on about 1.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
And the guy had the most trebly sound ever as well. I think whether he got a lot of roll off going, but literally it was so trebly, and it was 4 4x12s and 2 heads.
It's a joke, isn't it? Nah,
you know,
I just turn up with a 2x12 or a 1x12 now, and I've got one of these little Palmer things if you have to mic stuff up, you know. But
I've got the. I used to use the H&K red box for the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Speaker cable and out.
Yeah, that's the job.
But to do it with this setup, for example, I'm looking down because it's under my feet because this is where I record, so it's always there. But I could send. So I've got 4 different signal paths in the full Helix, so I can run the 5150, and I can send a modelled signal to the front of house, which I love, because then the PA, if it's in a small venue, they're only getting a bit of it in the PA anyway, because I'm literally getting the mix of, say, the 5150 that's in the Helix going out there, and this is controlling my amp and everything separately to that. It's great, it's what a time to be alive that you can do that.
I know. It's like because what I've got sitting here is like, all my recording stuff. I run my EVHS into a 2 notes live.
Love the 2 notes stuff. Yeah, it's great stuff.
I mean, I've had that for about 8-9 years now, and love it. I've had the Kempers and the Axe effects and that, but for me personally, I was spending too much time fiddling, and I just like come in, put the amp on, put that on, done.
I like that.
It's what it is.
Because what you're doing is you're digitally recording your analog amp. So it's
exactly that. Yeah, and my OCD's too bad that if I've got knobs there, I'll fiddle them. So there's knobs.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. There is because as much of an advocate I am of the Helix stuff, I love it, but I don't go anywhere near the depths of what it can do.
No, exactly.
Because you still see the patches that I do make. They're still very basic. It's like amp.
I dare not.
IR. There's a delay and a reverb in the loop, and occasionally there's a few pedals.
Yeah.
I have replicated my old rig. I've got so I've got my flanger and my phaser and all that. But ultimately, it's just any kind of recorded sound. It's amp, Celestian EVH IR, which I bought on Black Friday, and they are
they are really good.
Yeah, really good. They sound just like
really good.
So I'm like, that's good enough for me, and that's that. And then there's a bit of delay and reverb. And occasionally I do the split harmony thing with the +9 and -9 because to get my balance on. That's it.
It's got to be done. That's what I got on my
and that's it.
boss pedal.
That's that detune signal. It's just like it's just great.
Yeah, that's why I like that. That's why I like that boss pedal. It's got a detune function on it, and if you use it subtly, it's great. It just, especially if you're in like a one guitar band, it just
adds space. Just adds
a bit of space. Yeah, sometimes you need that. Yeah.
Did you see? Just talking about amps. Did you spot Wolfgang Van Halen's latest video?
I saw that, yeah.
Were you like me going, that looks like a 5150 vintage reissue in the background?
Yeah, especially now that
James Brown's there, isn't he?
Yeah, because Kaplan's just retired, the other guy. And
James Brown's been there about 6 months.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because I added him on Facebook about a year ago, and when the room, I just sent him a message. He's not going to reply to me. He said, "True, you're at Fender now, EVH." He's like, he answered me. He was like, "Yeah, it's great." He's like, friends with him. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking about buying a Stealth at the moment, but I'm holding back just in case there's something else coming up.
Well, look, do you know, there's a weird room. Well, it's not a room. It's been mentioned by Kaplan on the forums that the Stealth isn't far away from the 5153 combo. Yeah. The combo was modded slightly from the head. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people saying, well, the Stealth is, if you've got the combo, you don't need to buy the Stealth because the combo version's got those tweaks in it. There's a bit more heat in the blue channel and stuff like that. And that's what I've got. So I'm like, as much as I'd love a Stealth to go, I've got independent resonant controls in each channel. I'm like,
yeah.
And plus, here's a little story that I haven't told online to anybody because, it's 5 years later now, so I can do it. I didn't order a 5153 2x12 combo. I ordered a B stock 1x12. Unfortunately, what arrived was a 2x12. But at the time, I was trying to downsize from my 5150 Mississippi built 2x12. I thought, well, I'll get the one. This is a great deal. It's like nearly half price, and it's the 1x12.
Yeah.
50 watts. That'd be great for doing gigs and stuff. I'll get that. So literally, I ordered it, and the 2x12 came in the wrong box, and I was like, I've just literally bought the same thing as I had before, but how cool is that? Oh well.
I keep saying I'm going to downsize, but it keeps me fit. That's my excuse.
Look, Dan, I tried. I tried to downsize. Yeah. It just wasn't to be.
There's a limit you can downsize to, and I think
But I did try.
Yeah.
There's a weird, there's a bit of a weirdness to this because I was umming and ahhing about getting it. Because technically I didn't need it. I got a 5150 combo anyway, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But when you see something on a deal and it's B stock, and you think, oh, and at the time I could afford it, and I was like, well, I was umming and ahhing about it, and literally it was my partner's birthday at the pub that weekend, and I just walked in and said, just smack it on a tab for tonight. I'll pay it off at the end. Okay, no worries. So they print off my bill at the end, and my bill was £51.50. I was like, it's a sign.
It is a sign.
And then I went back and bought it. And I was right. Because what arrived wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but bonus. Yeah. So. Did you find, I mean, just a bit nerdy, just before we finish up there, did you find that you had to, like, break the speakers in a little bit? I know you do a lot of things, but I found that with the EVH Celestians, they just sound better and better the more that you play them. I've got
Zilla cabs. I use Zilla cabs, so I've got what have I got? I got a vintage 30 creamback mix.
Right. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
In my cabs. It's all right, my Siri keeps coming on for some reason.
Right.
And I just love that mix. I've always used, like, even in my 4x12, it was vintage 30 greenback mix. Yeah. So I've always loved that mix. You know, I used to have the vintage 30s in the bottom of the greenbacks top, and they're great little cabs.
Yeah. I just found, because obviously mine's got the Celestian EVHs, which are based on a greenback, and I always love but my Laney cabs have greenbacks in them and that. But I just found when I first got it, it didn't have the growl of my old 5150 that has got the Sheffield speakers in, which were like Peavy's version of vintage 30. But the more time I put into it, and the more they really seem to wear in, to the point where now it's
they do
great.
They definitely do break in.
I really like them. They've just got so much chunk and chug to them, you know, and it's partly to do with the fact the cabinet's like the size, it's like the weight of a small car, but like, but at least they've now got like metal handles up the side now, rather than the old combo with the one handle on the top.
God. Yeah, you need two hands on those things.
That's why I kind of walk with it slightly over the one side. So many years of trying to get to gigs with that thing.
I'm definitely like that. It's just like carrying 4x12s and that and stuff. Yeah.
So before we wrap up, then, what's coming up, man? What's your future plan?
There's talk of Hydra Vein doing more stuff. We've been offered. I think the pandemic's killed it off a little bit. Because coming out of the Brofest thing, there was all like everything to keep it going and that. But now I think the drummer's got, everybody's moved on. It's like 30 odd years. I mean, it's just such a shame, but I'm still doing like loads of recording stuff, and I just can't wait to get back gigging. I've got 2 bands I'm in, and it's what it is. I still love music, so I mean, life's too short to stop doing what you love. And I'm 58 this month, and I'm still doing it. I'm still lugging cabs around. I'm still doing shit. I still love playing my stuff.
I think that's the best way to look at it. Yeah. We'll all come out of this with the right attitude and start kicking ass again.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Well, mate, it's been fantastic getting face to face rather than just messaging about gear like we
definitely, mate.
It's been good, and thank you for your support of the podcast so far as well. I mean, you always
that's brilliant. Love it.
After I put one up, you're like, I really enjoyed that one. I'm like, well, someone's
watching. I'm a big podcast fan. I just love listening to them. It just keeps me, entertained.
Well, it's great. It's just I have to do the same thing every time. It's just getting people are watching. Yeah. We do get reports. Just click subscribe, give us a like. By all means, put comments on there, because the logarithm is a crazy thing, and I do notice that videos get a lot more views when people put comments and a little conversation starts on there. So, and as of now, all the audio versions are on every major place you get your podcasts from. We're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on Amazon, we're on Spotify as well, along with some of the smaller ones as well. So it's all there if you want to listen to them in your car like Dan does. So all of your help and your support is much, much appreciated. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much, Dan. It's been great, mate.
You've been listening to the Beer and Gear podcast with Chris Taylor.